that jig.
Holy shit, put that finger under.
That's a massive fish.
How big is it?
150?
Oh, we got it. Yep. Drop right there. Drop the jig, I said. Boom. Oh, come give him some. Use your legs.
Getting to the Underdog Sport Fishing Lodge is part of the adventure. Usually begins on a small float plane over beautiful country. And the reason our fishing is so good is because we're so remote. So even if you have to work a little to get here, it's worth it every minute of your trip. Port Protection sits on Prince of Wales Island at the head of the 26-mile-long Sumner Strait. Coming in by air, you realize just how remote Port Protection is. A tiny outpost of 30 people, 100 miles from anywhere. Just over the ridge behind the lodge sit the open waters of Sumner Strait. Fairly calm in July, the strait is rocked by 25-foot high waves in the winter, rolling in from the open ocean. The lodge consists of 5 cabins connected by a series of decks and boardwalks perched on the rocky shore of the lagoon. The cabins can accommodate 12 guests per week, and each cabin features private bathrooms, warm showers, and balconies overlooking the lagoon. There's fast Wi-Fi internet on the entire property, and the meal service is excellent. All the cooking is done for the guests, along with laundry service and cleaning. The tide rises or falls at 23 feet every 6 hours at Port Protection, some of the largest tidal swings in the world. It's a stunning thing to behold. There's beauty everywhere you look around the camp. Bald eagles soar overhead, and wildflowers pop out of every nook along the rocky shores. Heading into the woods behind the lodge, you find yourself in a rainforest, with moss and ferns covering the ground, the rocks, even the tree trunks. These woods feel old and timeless. Walk all the way through the forest, and you find yourself on the pebbled beaches of Sumner Strait.
I don't want to talk bad about any other location in Alaska because there's lots of really nice places. But when I found this place on Prince of Wales, I was just blown away that somebody hadn't found it yet. Nobody else was here. I mean, nobody is doing what I'm doing here. Nobody has in the past. It's unbelievable. It's very difficult to work here. Everything's harder. Everything's more expensive. You can't drive 10 minutes to the airport and drop people off and pick people up. But look at this. I have a strait that's 26 miles long, 6 miles wide, to myself. I don't know any place else like that. Some clients of mine knew I was getting kind of frustrated with how many charter boats where we were at previously. One of them brought a Cabela's catalog, and in the middle of the old Cabela's catalog, there was a real estate section. And there'd be like ranches for sale in Texas and South Dakota and Montana and stuff. And they'd all be like $20, $30 million ranches. And in the middle was this tiny little group of cabins in Port Protection. And he's like, you ought to look at this. I'm like, I don't even know where that is. I've never heard of it. And I worked 80 miles away from here, but I never heard of the place. It's just far away from everything. But so I ended up calling the number, and it was for sale by owner. It wasn't a realtor, so I actually got to talk to the guy. And I scheduled, I booked a couple days at his place, later in the summer when I could come up and spend some time. And 3 days turned into 10. I didn't want to leave. And it was then I was like, well, I might as well buy it. If I don't want to leave, it'd be the perfect place to do this from, you know? I know a lot of places, like, it's a race to get big and try to generate as much revenue as you can, but I feel like if we're the only people here right now and this strait is as good as it is, we should try to be at least decent stewards of it. And, you know, I could run 100 people a week through here, but it won't be the same after a couple of years. It just won't be. So try to keep it small, you know, intimate group settings, and keep the fishing really good.
Holy moly.
What a flounder.
Fishing at Underdog Sport Fishing makes you feel almost like you're in a nature documentary. You see bears just roaming on the shorelines all around. Any rock outcropping, you'll find pods of harbor seals like these. They spend most of their time hunting fish, squid, and octopus around the edges of the kelp beds. They can stay submerged for up to 20 minutes while hunting. Incredibly, the babies spend just 1 month with their mother nursing, and then they're on their own, living in the ocean for the rest of their lives. You are never out of sight of feeding whales when you're fishing out of boat protection. Somewhere on the horizon, you will see a whale spouting off everywhere you look, all day long. You'll see huge schools of humpbacks coming at you like this, and you'll also see pods of killer whales, orcas, everywhere. The big male orcas are almost 30 feet long, and their dorsal fins are 6 feet tall. You'll see them hunting in pods all around, right, especially when you start catching a lot of fish. Chances are they're catching a lot of fish too. This pod lives year-round in Sumner Strait, and some of the members may be as old as 80 years. You'll see a lot of orcas in shallow water where they're marauding the schools of salmon ganging up to run up the rivers. The enormous humpbacks, by contrast, are filter feeders, eating krill, plankton, and small schooling fish such as herring and mackerel, gulping huge mouthfuls of water and straining the prey out with specialized plates in their mouths.
Oh, yeah.
Being 100 miles from the nearest electricity source, staying at Underdog Lodge is definitely living off the grid, which you'll never notice when you're there. A large solar array and backup generators mean there's always power when you want to turn on a light, and there's always a warm fire in the main guest house.
The amount of sun we get when the Earth's axis is tilted, it's unbelievable. We get major power. These are 400 watt panels a piece, so in theory, 6 panels would be 2,400 watts. I have a gauge up there, I can tell what it's inputting. Sometimes it's over 3,000 watts, just because we're that close to the sun. So these panels are rated at the equator. So it works out pretty good. And then we supplement that with generators.
So we got 2 lithium batteries here that power the whole place. We got the generator here that charges the lithiums. We also have a solar that charges whenever the sun's out. This tells us what's going on here, how much power is being used, what level the battery is at. You know, if these go down to 2 or 3 bars, we usually crank the generator on, and you know, for an hour or so. This right here used to be the old system. This is a big diesel generator. This used to power the whole property. Big 500-gallon diesel tank. This is being ripped out. This is super loud. It's inconvenient. just not really suitable for us.
The camera crew decided to go snorkeling off the beach behind the lodge.
The water's chilly.
The ocean water was chilly indeed, 45 degrees at the surface. The rocks closest to shore were covered in a small kelp species known as popweed. The name comes from the leaves, which are actually small air bladders that you can pop between your fingers. These act like life jackets for the seaweed, helping it float above the rocks and get closer to the sunlight. Mixed around the roots, barnacles reach out their frilly hands endlessly, grabbing for plankton drifting by. Barnacles are crustaceans related to shrimp and crabs, and they're actually quite good to eat, especially the larger ones. Several species of starfish call the kelp beds home, some growing up to a foot across. Millions of snails carpet the bottom, vacuuming up algae and any organic matter they encounter. These are mostly Sitka periwinkles, a food source for prehistoric peoples. Dropped in a hot soup, the snail meat falls out of the shell, and the shell then floats to the surface where it can be scooped out and tossed away. Swimming into deeper water on the way to the kelp beds, we encountered a giant lion's mane jelly with tentacles up to 100 feet long. This is one of the largest jelly species on Earth and delivers a painful sting. The kelp you see floating on the surface is a cornerstone of the Alaskan ecosystem. Bull kelp's holdfasts can attach to rocks 30 feet below the surface. Individual stalks can grow 100 feet in a year, forming vast forests along the shore and over submerged rock outcroppings. Every part of the kelp seaweed is edible, and pickles and potato chips made out of it are considered an Alaskan delicacy. All manner of fish and other creatures feed and shelter in the kelp beds. The most charismatic are the otters. Lacking blubber to keep themselves warm, otters eat a fifth of their body weight every day, meaning about 20 pounds of food per otter. Hunted almost to extinction in the 1800s for their fur, their populations rebounded to historic levels by about the year 2000. Sea otter pups stay with their mothers for about 8 months, learning how to forage and crack shellfish open on their bellies using rocks. Pups will ride atop mom like this, and if she senses danger, she'll bite the pup's ear to make sure he comes along and escapes.
Yellow eye rockfish. That fish is probably 75 or 80 years old.
Wow.
Super slow to grow. You see the black on its back. It's some kind of fungus they get on their skin when they get older. Really, really nice fish. Probably the best eating fish you'll take home. First tank at it. They have 4 hemispheres, kind of like a tuna, but just shaped different. This is kind of cool. They got a cheek, and it's delicious.
Big cheek, yeah.
So when you feel for it, it's gonna be all bony. That's why you don't harpoon them here, because you'll never get a dart through them. But then you can feel the soft spot right there. You go in. You get most of the skin off, and then you just peel it right off.
Oh yeah.
And that right there.
I bet that's good fried.
Oh man, that's as good as it gets. That's like the filet mignon of the whole fish. It's called the cheek. Oh, we got something in here. We got something in here. See what we got. That looks like an octopus beak.
That is a beak, yeah.
See the beak? There is some seashells, like Jaws. Yeah, license plate in here. There's some more octopus beaks. And there's the rest of the octopus. And another beak. Another beak right here. Feel it.
So how many octopuses you got? 4?
Yeah, apparently.
Or 3?
He'd been going to town on octopus. That one's kind of a mess, but that is mostly digested octopus. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. See you later, buddy. Thank you.
Underdog Sport Fishing. Great food, top of the line tackle, incredible fishing. Come see us.